Okay, so everyone wanted to know, it's good to live in hope, said the tapeworm. Is that like he's like eating his way and he's so happy and he has no idea he's like killing the host? Is that it? That's my interpretation.
Okay. Toivossa on hyvä elää, sanoi Lapamato.
Let's see.
So the tapeworm is living there, not controlling their life. They're just hoping for whatever's coming, you know? They're just hanging there.
Okay, so the lesson is don't be the tapeworm, right? Control your destiny.
I think it's more like, I don't know if this is politically correct, maybe it is, but to me it says like retard maxing, which is like the it's a trend now of like people like with the rise of AI, it's just being more stupid. And living stupid is actually the wise thing to do. The more dumber you are, the wiser you are. And the more higher IQ you have, the worse you're off because you overthink everything.
So you want to be a tapeworm?
Yeah.
The tapeworm's got it figured out?
Well, he's clueless, so he's actually having a great life. That's how I interpret that.
Okay. I kind of same as my interpretation. Really, not really. He's living good. He has no idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, today we're going to talk about a deeply feeling child. What if your child is more sensitive and emotional than others?
Yeah, and it's not, at first when I heard this term, I thought it was like a really sensitive child to like emotions or loud noises or to bright colors or whatever, and they would be maybe more shy. That is not what they're saying. A deeply sensitive kid is just bigger feelings. I think it's like a bigger feeling kid.
And this is a specific term I heard it from Dr. Becky.
Yeah.
Good Inside.
We love Dr. Becky. We talk about her all the time.
But I guess the concept has been around with other names for a long time. And there's been this group of people where a lot of the traditional parenting advice doesn't work. Where it doesn't work to be a strict parent doesn't work with them. And also being the permissive parenting doesn't work with them. So it's a very unique small group of children, and I think we have one.
We have one. So I read the entire Dr. Becky book, and I was like, great, these all sound like really good prompts for two of my children, but the third one, this would never work on. And then I got to the last chapter, which is like basically appendix, and it says, oh, by the way, there's one other type of kid, and if you have this type of kid, nothing that I previously said works, and here's this bit, and that's where it clicked. So we don't want to name which child it is, but we'll talk about it.
Today we're going to talk about that.
Yes.
So if you're new to the channel, before we get going, maybe context is helpful. My name is Tero. Go ahead. You do it.
There you go.
Okay. I'm from Finland.
I'm from California.
We have 3 boys, and they're all very different. And one of them is the most different in this sense. And I always thought that he will be destined for greatness no matter what. But it does not come without a price.
You called it from almost day one. It was pretty crazy.
Yes.
And we've seen it unfold, and we've had multiple children psychics that have told us that this is his destiny.
So what do you think are the signs of somebody having this kind of a special creature? Because every child, when they're hungry or tired, will like express some of these behaviors. But outside of that, you know?
Well, the one that really tipped me was he has a really hard time with saying he's sorry. And most kids, if you say like, oh, you hit your friend, he looks sad, let's go apologize, they will not do it. It almost hurts them to do it because they have a really high shame. And so they don't want to admit that they were wrong, and it causes them a lot of shame and hurt if they feel like they did that, because they're deeply, deeply feeling kids. Another thing that they do is like their emotions will be so wild and out there. They'll be the one hitting, they'll be the one kicking. They're like chaotic a bit with their energy. And asking them, please stop doing that. Stop, we don't hit, we don't do this. None of those normal prompts really work. And you have to take a different approach.
Yes, and as a dad who's not an expert in this topic, they show a lot of the signs of autism in certain ways of shutting down, but they're the opposite of autistic, where they like are very aware about social cues and moments, and that's like this dichotomy is like they shut down and become antisocial and weird, but it's not because they don't know that it was wrong or something happened. They know.
And they're very into social. Like our child loves his friend.
Yes.
Friends.
Friends, yeah. Plural.
There's a couple friends. They have really close relationships with a couple, and that feels so strong. And if that hurt is, if that's betrayed or they break apart, then that's a big.
Yeah, like one of
Also-
our other children is a social butterfly that will make, dozens of friends.
He's easygoing. It's like he'll play with whatever they want to do. He
And
just
if
matches
somebody
their
doesn't want to
energy.
play with him at this moment, he will like move to other kids or other
Yeah.
activities. He doesn't get stuck. I feel like this kind of child gets stuck in a lot of like beliefs and systems. And yeah,
It's high shame and then high righteousness, I would say. And what was the one thing the teacher said? It was like justice, right?
yeah, they have a high degree of feeling like something is fair.
Like something was wronged. If something wrongs them, it's really
It's hard to
intense
move on
too.
in life.
Yeah. So basically, we read the Dr. Becky. Well,
Maybe start with that. Is like, what does the experts say?
well, the
you
first
should
book
do
we read
or not do?
was Taming Lions.
Oh, Raising Lions.
Raising, yeah, don't tame them. Sorry, Raising Lions.
Yeah, and it's more for kids that misbehave. I don't think it's the exact same concept, but there are people. The idea is more general than these sensitive kids, but it's about like back in the day, parents who were really strict. Like if you didn't behave, you would get spanked. So kids would follow orders and there was authority. The negative was that they didn't feel like they were seen.
Well, the problem with violence, obviously, besides the obvious, is that when the child gets big enough, strong enough, has enough authority to just leave and not listen to you, if you can't physically contain them anymore, then that leads to a child who is running out of the house, sneaking out at night, stealing your car, getting into, juvenile detention, things like that. When you can't physically contain them anymore, which they will get to that point, then none of your threats hold any power. And I think with that book, the Raising Lions.
I didn't get that at all from the book.
I don't know if you read the book.
I did read it in the
I
book.
don't think you did.
So the idea is more like
Yeah.
the boomer generation was really strict, kind of like they were brought up with like the post-war time and they were strict to their kids. And not all of those people ended up in juvie, but then they didn't want to treat their kids like they were treated. And they became the permissive parenting, which is the young Gen X, older millennials who became permissive parenting, and they became the sheep. But then the kids need boundaries and they didn't listen, and then became an issue where the kids would keep misbehaving past the tantrum phase. So if the tantrum phase is 2 to 3 years or whatever, depending on the individual, they would show those behaviors even worse at 5, 6, 7, and it kept going worse. But it was because their parents were too loosey-goosey, because their parents were too strict.
Yeah, so the second parents didn't have any boundaries.
Yeah.
So they were raising sheep when they should have been raising lions, is the premise of the book.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're letting your kid get away with so much that at a certain point they're running the show.
And the solution that they propose is not that you hurt the child, but you don't assume they know the rules, so you don't punish them for the first time. You say, these are the boundaries, and at the moment when you break the boundary, you don't say, hey, if you do that one more time, you're gonna get like immediate outcome. Like if they know that this is not allowed, the moment they break that boundary, you take them outside or in a separate space, kind of detached, and you say, we're gonna sit here quietly for 2 minutes, and then you can talk about it after. But you don't start the 2 minutes until they've calmed down. And in the beginning, it could take like 45 minutes for them to calm down.
It would take so long.
But then as they learn it, they learn to regulate their emotions faster. And then
And what are you doing while you're outside with them? Will you walk
you
them
make
through?
sure they don't hurt you or themselves or escape. And that they don't play with toys. You don't distract them, but you're just like making sure, ideally they sit next to you in peace and quiet, but in the beginning they might rebel, so you might have to hold them, not hurt them, but make sure they don't hurt you or themselves.
And one big caveat is you make sure you have no emotion really in your voice. There's no like shame, there's no lecture. It's just like, oh, we're gonna go outside.
Yes.
And you don't explain why. That's really important either, at first.
Yeah, and they believe that it works for most kids. I don't think it's just for these sensitive, deep feeling kids. So we tried to do that. And I think what worked in that is that our child learned to calm themselves and be outside, fresh air, sit down, and have respect for authority, but it did not solve the problem. Like, it made it less bad and we made progress, but I don't think that Raising Lions method worked.
Really? Oh, I thought it did really good.
Well, it did better than the opposite. Because
I think it was just consistency. It was pretty hard to do when I was alone with all 3 kids.
yeah, I would do it and it worked for me. And he has a lot of respect for my authority, I guess. And he learns that very quickly. It's better to just sit and breathe, and then he calms down and we talk about it after.
Yeah, once you've calmed, then you talk about what was the thing.
But I
that
don't
brought
think
you
it
up
solved all the problems. Like, obviously these books always tell you that there's this one solution that solves all problems. And I think the advice was really helpful. Like, you can tame a lion as a sheep, but I don't think it solved all the problems. Because but yeah, go ahead.
But one good thing that they did teach is you don't do timeouts where they're by themselves. So you don't lock them in the room to be alone, because that's like breaking apart from connection when they need connection the most. So when a kid is acting out, they really need your love and attention because they feel unregulated and they need you to be safe and be their safety. And so putting them in their own room is like exacerbating the problem, because then they're alone and then you kind of punish them. So instead you do these breaks where you're with them. So it's a break, it's not a timeout.
Yes.
And it was very similar what Dr. Becky did. So when I read that Dr. Becky book, she has the same protocol. She has
it's about acknowledging the feelings pretty quickly, versus in this case, in the Raising Lions, they assume the kid knows what's wrong.
I think Dr. Becky did too.
Okay. Yeah.
So Dr. Becky, you do the same thing. You grab the kid when they're doing what they know they shouldn't do, and you say, okay, we're going in a room, and you get them in a much smaller room, because she said that kids with these predispositions have these big feelings and they feel like they're overwhelming the room and the space. So if you take them in a smaller space, then their feelings don't feel so big and scary.
Yeah.
That was her theory.
I think the Raising Lions is the masculine way to approach the problem, and the Dr. Becky is the feminine way, and I think they both work for different people, so definitely check them out. So what did we do that worked for us, or what has been some advice you would give?
Those 2 books are really good. I think connection, there's also a theory, I think it's helping hands or holding hands, something like that, where kids need the connection when they're going through a hard time. And so if the kid is hitting the other kid, usually the parents run to the other kid to be like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And you should do that, but you should also check on the kid who's hitting, because obviously he feels so dysregulated that he needs to hit. So they also need to be checked in on. So that helped, is connection. When really you're probably mad at them, you want to not connect, but stooping down on their level and connecting and being like, what's going on, or how are you feeling, or what?
Yeah, Cora's done the mommy Sundays where we pull them from school, and she would spend a full day with one child, because we have 3. So that's been, I think, really helpful for all the kids, but particularly this one, really like getting some attention and alone time. And like one time he was really behaving badly, so instead of lecturing him, I put him on an electric bike and I gave him a helmet, and we drove around and we stopped at a park and we just did stuff. And there was like no lecturing, but we just went away. And I think he behaved so well after that. And he was so sweet while we were doing it. And he had fun riding the bike. So that could be something as well. It's just one-on-one time, even though it's hard, especially if you have multiple kids. And that's the child that's misbehaving. So then you're leaving the kids that were not misbehaving, quote unquote, by themselves, or not obviously alone, but like you're giving attention to the troublemaker. Is like seems counterintuitive, but it can actually help.
Yeah, and we noticed our other 2 kids are not inclined to this. So it's not like they saw that happen to the other kid and they were like, oh, I should act out as well to get attention, because they don't really think like that. But I think like a big key point is not over lecturing, because kids just cannot hear it, especially right when it's happened. They're not taking in any information. So a lot of times we won't talk about it to this child, and then when we're doing bedtime, it'll come out and he'll tell you something about some kid was mean to him that day, or whatever. So like, don't feel like you need to address it right then. Wait and let it voluntarily come was a big tip.
Oh, totally. Talking it out in the moment, I think, is
so annoying.
Does not work. the key is to go away, detach from the situation, the space, the kind of context.
Same with your husband, I would say.
But like, yeah, go outside, get some fresh air, go jump on the trampoline, whatever, something totally different to break the pattern and give it some time. And then that evening or next day, I think they might be more open to talking about what they're feeling and how they're handling it is a huge one.
Another thing our teacher did was give him more responsibility of having him be the leader and the one who knows and can show the younger kids so that he would build more empathy. That was really smart. Giving them, like my mom is a teacher, 4th and 5th grade, and whatever kid was acting out, she would give them a task. She would be like, can you go to the principal's office and grab these certain erasers? And a kid like that loves that because they're probably bored and that's why they're acting out.
Yeah, and then the other thing is reading books and drawing, but like activities have been a huge game changer where they're not bothered.
Art therapy?
Yeah, I guess you could call it art therapy or whatever, but having them other avenues of feeling feelings that works for that child, whatever that may be, is I think really powerful. Like to your point, it might be boredom or it might be lack of
Stimuli?
yeah, and then they create it with these things to where to put their feelings, and it could be exercise and sports, but for us, besides the physical activities, I think books have been huge. Just go to the library.
Another thing is just waiting until they outgrow it too, because it could be that as well.
Yeah, and then a weird thing, if it's a boy, which usually seems to be a boy, is other male role models. Like you go to this Ninja Academy thing, and there's this really like in a good way kind of macho guy, and they like this child is just very like drawn to, I don't know, authority is the right word, but like
Power.
like
Powerful figures.
yeah, powerful men that they can respect. And I can see him kind of bully weak dads a little bit.
Yes, he does bully dad.
So I've seen him run over some other parents that have tried to like
Or babysitters.
yeah, although love that one hot young babysitter had a little crush.
Which one?
Well, I don't want to say the name,
Yeah.
but yeah.
He had a crush on her?
Yes,
Or she?
yes.
Yes, yeah.
I get mutual, but yeah. So
Consensual.
yeah, but yeah, the other male role models might be helpful, particularly ones that have some sort of authority to a sport or skill that they can respect, and I think they will listen a lot better in that case.
Yep. So good luck with your deeply feeling child. If
Yeah.
you need help, send us an email.
Well, thanks for watching, listening, like and subscribe. Leave a comment about other topics you would like us to cover. The show is brought to you by Four Sigmatic. What do you think about Four Sigmatic?
Well, I liked it before I knew you, so I obviously
Cool.
love it. And at first I just hung out with Taro so I could get free product, and then our romance bloomed.
Yes. But Four Sigmatic is the original mushroom coffee brand. They also make teas, proteins, creamers. We've been loving these creamers.
Yeah.
Coconut creamers with.
And they blend so good compared to other ones.
So you get your MCTs, your lion's mane, and vitamin B12 while having a delicious cup of hot beverage of your choice. And my favorite is the vanilla, but we've been having the chocolate a lot. It's made with real cacao, real vanilla, so check it out. If you go to, there's a link in the description that gives you a special deal where you get a free product, just pay shipping and handling. If you want to try it out, money back guarantee, all the good stuff.
Am I eligible to try that out?
For new customers.
Okay. All right.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess you can make up a
Create
fake
a new Gmail.
AOL email.
Hot Outlook, Hotmail.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.